Good morning. Welcome to Mudbone's Toolbox. I got a million things to do this morning, but I ran across this little set here. This little box, you can see that I've used it quite a bit. And let's take a look inside and see what it is. Well, it appears to be a set of sockets. Get that out of the way. They appear to be round. Well, what good is that? Well, what these are tap sockets. And here's what I used to use. I used to use 8-point sockets. And you try to find one that fits fairly close like that. And it fits pretty good. But most of them, the sizes don't quite fit all the ends. Okay. So normally you'd be using a tool like this to tap a hole out if you got a broken off bolt and you need to retap it, or making new threads, whatever. Or you'd be using a T-handle. But many times you're down in a hole and you need something a little more substantial than that. This holds the tap in real tight. I think it has an O-ring in there, and inside it's square to fit that. So it's specifically made to hold taps or easy outs. That way you can get down in a hole without this thing wobbling around or trying to use a T-handle. You use your little ratchet. Another thing that I've used this for, and they don't fall out. If you're using this old square set, 8-point set, the taps just fall right out. What I've used this for is when I rebuild my engines and I want to run a tap through all the holes in the block, like where the head bolts go and pan, to get the crud out. I'll put a small air ratchet, like a 1/4-inch drive air ratchet, on here with low air, because you don't really want to make threads, you just want to clean them, so you can run those in and out real quick and it's not going to come off. It pops off like that. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had this thing 20-30 years ago, because I've had a lot of I've used these forever and I was never really satisfied with them. And these have really been a time saver. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer, or if you're restoring a car, and they're not cheap. These happen to be Blue Points, but I'll tell you what, you'll love them. They will absolutely make things go a lot easier. And they're just a kind of a tool tip. I mean, if you're not doing a lot of work, you probably won't need them, but I'll tell you what, if you can tell by the box, I probably use these once, twice a week sometimes, depending on what I'm working on. And it's really saves time and it saves a lot of aggravation. So if that's kind of the thing that you're looking for, I'm sure the other tool manufacturers have them. But these happen to be the ones that I purchased, and I use them a lot. So good luck. Till next time, Mudbone's Garage.
That's all, folks.